We're doing this mailbag as part of our NFL live shows. However, the NBA crew here at Chat Sports is trying to cut in on our time, and they want to start doing NBA shows before their offseason gets going. If you want to say no, and you don't want the NBA crew to take over from NFL Daily for the time being, then show it by liking today's video right now. We begin with a $5 super chat from Taylor. Thank you, Taylor. Ignore one team. Is it cheaper to buy now on a quarterback or spend three or four firsts on a new QB? It depends on what you value more and what the relative cost is of draft picks and spending big money on a QB. The cheaper option, of course, is organically end up with that quarterback. Organically end up with that number 1, number 2, number 3 pick, whatever, and take them super early. Then you're not sacrificing what amounts to massive draft classes, and you're not having to pay big contract money. I would probably go with the buy now on a quarterback, which is the harder one to actually find because you're not going to find them very often in free agency. It's basically been Kirk Cousins. That's it. The other quarterbacks have not been that good that have hit free agency and older Tom Brady, which of course worked out well for Tampa. That's often tough to do. If you get lucky, you just pay your own guy. That's how most teams tend to operate. Then I'd probably go trading up 3 or 4 first rounders is a lot. It didn't work very well for Carolina. Didn't end up working out in the end for the Commanders with RG3. It kind of, I think, limits your ability to add cheaper young talent, which you'll eventually need when you have to pay the quarterback big money if he hits down the line. So I would go organically tank, spend on one, trade a massive haul for one. From Lore, who should the Niners trade before training camp? For me, this kind of comes down to, can you find good value for DeeBo with the way you've drafted as of late? Does someone take a flyer on Danny Gray, by the way? I liked him coming out. It was a sleeper for me, but he's been a bit banged up overall. Maybe one of your running backs, too. You have McCaffrey, Isaac Rendu, I think is a great fit. Jordan Mason and Elijah Mitchell. Do you need all 4? Maybe you do, given injury history. I think you could shop somebody from that angle. Andrew, does Gallup to the Raiders mean Adams trade? So as an aside, I did see an article claiming this. And maybe that's what you're referring to, Andrew. The answer is no. They are not going to trade him. Adams has said he doesn't want to go. If he wanted to, he would already be out of here. And Michael Gallup does not replace Davante Adams' impact, not even remotely similar from that perspective. They have Brock Bowers, and that's going to be a fun, kind of second tight end slot receiver fit. But you can't make your wide receiver room Michael Gallup, Jacoby Myers, and Trey Tucker. That is not going to work. So I think it's a big fat no to this question here. Will the Raiders trade Devonta Adams? It's the pinned comment on today's video. If the ad comes on YouTube, great. Ignore it. Take advantage. Go vote. Y for yes, N for no. Cameron Briglin, I think the Texans are the most likely team to dethrone the Chiefs in the AFC this coming season. I would also put the Ravens and the Bengals in that category. We've seen the Ravens be a really good football team. We have seen the Bengals dethrone the Chiefs before, making it to the Super Bowl and coming up short against the Rams. Logan Wilson did not commit PI, so be it. Those are some of the top teams that I'd be looking at in terms of who's more or most likely to beat KC. Other teams, the Bills will probably still be okay. Dolphins, if the Jets are healthy, Aaron Rodgers, or if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, the Jets, maybe they can make some noise, but I'm looking at Texans, but really Bengals and Ravens even more so. Richard Ikoko, a NASCAR fan. Look at that nice little switch up. Which edge or DT do you want the Bears to get for free agency? And when is the NFL schedule coming out? It's not a great class right now in terms of the free agents. I think Calais Campbell is probably one of your better ones out there. Worth considering. NFL schedule TBD, normally at some point in mid-May. So 2, 3, 4 weeks, somewhere in that time, we should get that NFL schedule. Now, NFL rookie jerseys are available for your favorite NFL team. The Caleb Williams ones are available. Jaden Daniels, all the draft picks are there. even if their jersey numbers are just a placeholder. They'll eventually have the right ones on there. You can pre-order it now at chatsports.com/NFL jersey. So whatever team you're a fan of, there's a filter on the left side. You can click and adjust there. Get the rookie jersey for your favorite NFL team, the new player you guys had, you're all hyped about. Go get their jersey now. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. We'll put that link in the comment section and the description of today's show. From Aaron, in your opinion, what will be the strongest division for this coming season? In my opinion, it will be the NFC North. Not a bad answer in terms of the AFC North there as a selection. I think the AFC North will once again be a dogfight. I think every single one of those teams harbors very realistic playoff hopes. Like the Bengals missed it last year, and that's because their quarterback was hurt. AFC North is always a dogfight. I think that'll be the case again this upcoming season. Excuse me. And then I think AFC North is a good answer there. NFC West should be good, maybe more like top 4 good, not top 2 good. Yellow Kid, will the Chiefs make another move? Probably. Just might not be a big move. I think they're in pretty good shape overall. They got their wide receiver. They got their left tackle. They've extended Travis Kelce. They'll do like little minor things, but I think overall they're in good shape. Jace, thoughts on the Miami Dolphins draft? I didn't love Chop Robinson in round 1. I feel like you're not going to get the immediate impacts ideally you're hoping for unless you're really concerned about Jalen Phillips and or Bradley Chubb. That's fine. The day 3 picks, the day 3 pick value of Jalen Wright, Muhammad Kamara, I loved. Malik Washington too. I thought they were one of the better day 3s, even if maybe those weren't their biggest needs. The players they got are good, and I've often said simply draft the good football players and things will end up going pretty well for you. Patrick Paul won't help you much in year 1 either, but you're hoping that's your long-term left tackle, and those are kind of hard to find. Sebastian, will the Saints trade Alvin Kamara after June 1st? I don't think so, mostly because I don't know who wants to pay Alvin Kamara like the $11 million he's owed. The decline has set in for him, and not sure how much is really left in the tank for him at this time. But he can still help you as a third down back. He's just not the same peak version he was at his absolute best. Name a player who you think ends up getting traded. I'm sure you've got some names and our ideas. So put them in the comment section for me right now. From Dr. Pancake, what is the best cornerback for the Jets from free agency trade candidates? Still need a corner opposite Tay Banks. Good question. Look at the free agent corners now. Stephon Gilmore. Probably one of the better ones out there. I think Keller Witherspoon is. Xavier Howard. Honestly, I don't think bringing back Adoree Jackson would be the worst idea ever. I really don't. Trades are always a little bit tricky. I'm not really sure who's coveted out there at this time, but I think you could still find a decent corner in the open market. From Fishbowl Flash, laugh now. First off, super chat. Thank you, Fishbowl. Laugh now, but the Arizona Cardinals will be a sleeper team. I do like the direction they're trending in. I think they still might be a year away, given the kind of rebuild they went through there. But I do think that is one reason I like what Monty Ossenfort has done a lot. I think they are definitely trending in the upward direction. Now, we've got all the best NFL coverage for you right here on YouTube. If you missed our NFL draft grades, UDFA tracker stuff, that is available on the channel as well. So go subscribe. Hit that button, youtube.com/chatsportstv. From Rat Jez, where does Marshon Lattimore get traded to? I am unconvinced a trade will happen for Marshon Lattimore because they've already played around with his contract stuff. Like if they trade him after June 1st, they save under about $4 million, and they kind of already brought down his base salary a lot. If that was something that they wanted to do, they would have done it at the beginning of the offseason. Now, they do it right now. Like if they trade him at this time, they're eating $31 million of dead money. Now, it's spread out over multiple years, but I don't think that's a shrewd decision for the Saints. So I think he's sticking around for at least one more year. EV, should Minnesota trade next year's first for a defensive tackle? I'm actually going to go with absolutely not. Normally I'd be like, okay, you'd be into it a little bit there. The Vikings are so light on draft capital next year, they have to keep that first-round pick. I think they're in line to have like a fifth and some later round comp picks if they trade the one. So that is one of those, hey, unless the dude's like on a rookie contract, like still in his like entering year 2, which there's really nobody worth it as far as I'm concerned, you keep that first-round pick because you might need it to trade down and get extra assets back. Miles, who is quarterback 1 next year? I don't know. You've got some names. Carson Beck from Georgia, Quinn Ewers from Texas has hype. Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. Had they entered this year's draft, I don't know if any of them would have actually been a first-round pick. Maybe one sneaks in the mid-late part of round 1. None of them would have been viewed as the top 3 or probably even top 4 quarterback. They've all got a lot of work to do. Somebody will emerge, but it is not a, yes, Caleb Williams, Drake May, look how good these guys are going to be. There's not one of those in this year's class, and you're hoping one of them emerges a la Jaden Daniels. Who will get the number 1 pick in the 2025 NFL Draft? Sound off for me in the comment section right now. From Vince, what do the Falcons owe Kirk Cousins if they trade him next offseason? And what does the new team have to pay him over the remaining 3 years of his contract? Okay, so the new team would owe him $27.5 million in 2025, $45 million in 2026, and also in 2027 as well. They could trade him in 2025, save $2.5 million of his $40 million cap charge. So you're still paying franchise quarterback money for him to not be on your roster in 2025. You could try the whole post-June 1st stuff, but that kind of like defeats the purpose because then the new team can't get him in. So after June 1, you cannot designate a trade post-June 1st. Not how it works. You can't cut him either. Cutting him would incur an additional $25 million in dead money on top of the $40 million. So he's there for 2 years, unless they trade him and still basically pay him. Cobra Kai World, what should the Patriots offer for Brandon Aiyuk? I think you got to start with like a conditional 1 or a 2. I think the timing to do it probably would have been during the draft where like you knew what the picks were. There's a non-zero chance the Patriots are still a bottom 10 team next year, right? Even if Drake may play as well, it's kind of a reset timeline. You're not going to trade the number 10 pick for Brandon Aiyuk. I don't think you want to do that at least. Now, if it's like the 19th overall pick, let's have that conversation, but you just don't know right now. So I think it's like a 2 and change and like a conditional 2 that can become a 1 if they make the playoffs or something, and I don't know if that's enough for San Francisco to say yes to. Tyson Stanger, early prediction for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I might go Dallas Turner. Maybe Quinyon Mitchell can get some INTs for Philadelphia, by the way, or Terran Arnold can as well. Dallas Turner, though, I think will get a lot of good chances to get after the quarterback with what the Vikings do on defense. So that's going to be my early prediction.